Welcome to Synchronicity. Holy shit, this Mercury retrograde has been the most insane Mercury retrograde of all time. Shit is just going wrong. I had like 10 fuck ups in a row to start the past 24 hours. Just fuck up. Picked up the baby late. Just fucking wildly emotional. Just fucking Cancer, Mercury, Moon, fucking Jesus Christ. It's a whole fucking thing. Anyway. Shifting gears, this episode is delightful. It was recorded last week. We did an Instagram live, and we're doing more of those with guests. I'll do them over there. A lot more people download this podcast and follow me on Instagram, so I'm going to then put the audio out on the podcast when I do those. But I think the live things are really fun, so you can catch those on Instagram and YouTube and wherever else you do live things. Apologies to patrons for the smoke session yesterday. Another Mercury retrograde thing. I'm just like fucking missing shit. I even literally got up yesterday and was like, hey, we're going to do the smoke session. It's going to be awesome. Then just totally spaced, didn't do it. It's fucking just, if that's been happening to you, you have permission to forgive yourself, because it's okay, because that's like, what else are you gonna do? This week's guest is Pea The Feary. The Feary. I said I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say Pea The Feary, even though it's spelled Fury, but it's Pea The Feary. But she could go by Fury too. I like it. She is an amazing artist, illustrator, mystic, human design expert. She's incredible. You may have heard her on Jess's podcast. I've been following her for a while on Twitter and Instagram, and she's like a cool listener and fan of the podcast. She's just delightful. You'll hear in this episode, she's a delight, a pleasure. Go check her out at our website, peathefairy.com. That's fairy, F-E-A-R-Y. That's why I keep saying Feary. So if you remember it that way, that's cool. Go check her out on Instagram. Her art, her human design readings. I got one. It's fucking fantastic. She's just cool. She's cool as fuck. What did we talk about? I just remember I microdosed mushrooms and just felt like I was fucking flying that day. The audio is what it is. It was recorded on our phones because it was on Instagram. I'm getting the good connector thing to make the audio good on streaming from the iPhone. So that's going to happen. Also, just did an amazing podcast. It should be out on YouTube, and their podcast with Very Ape, Sean and Cass came up to Rhinecliff. We recorded an episode of theirs that, man, I don't even remember exactly what we spoke about, but it was fucking amazing. So stay tuned for that on their podcast and their YouTube, Very Ape. I'm going to keep it pretty short. I think that's what we're going to do. You know what it is. That's it. Go check out P. She's fucking amazing. Without further ado, here is Pea The Feary. What's going on, guys? Hello, everyone. Hello. It's going to be, today's been crazy already. I had the chart of the day pulled up. I never did this on astro.com. Fave papers. They're so bougie, but those fucking, what vibes they have in LA. I like those. Just the regular ones, not the hemp. Yeah, we'll let that simmer though. I don't need to be chiefing up a storm. I didn't know there was a new Skrillex and Kanye track called Ego Death. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, let me add P here. View, go live. Is it working? Yeah. Nice.
Hello.
How you doing?
Squad behind me. I feel great. I don't know if I can hear you and have these on at the same time.
You can take those off. It doesn't matter. I think the audio is going to be good enough regardless. You can take everything off. I'm just going right to my phone.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'm feeling great. I was super nervous, and then people brought me tea and smoothies and honey and weed, and so everything's fine.
That's how it works. That's how we do it. I've been fucking obsessively listening to this Kanye song, this Travis Scott and Kanye song since it came out. Like, great, oh my God.
Travis Scott. Sweet!
It's so good. But
I want to check in. I mean, I'm glad we got to do this. You're the first one. I think what we're going to do is I'll record this, get the audio, put it out as a podcast next week for people that don't tune in live. But, you know, this is a good, I'm feeling these live energies lately, and I just feel like it's a good thing to do. And I know you can hang, if anything. So, so let's start there. I pulled up the chart for today's energy, and it looks pretty flowy for most people, and everyone has different positions in their chart. But, like, how are you feeling today, July 1st, 2020?
I feel amazing, which, you know, that's cool. I feel great, and today keeps getting, like, gradually better and better and better, and it's, like, I don't know when the ramp up is going to stop, but I feel like a door busted open, and it's amazing.
Right? Okay. I just, like, so I don't want to jump in and just be like, hey, today's, like, just, you know, I've calibrated my own sense of well-being to that of the collective, so I kind of know that if I'm feeling really good, there's a good chance, like, at least people in, like, my immediate circle or, like, access are going to be feeling amazing. But today has just been, July traditionally is an amazing month for me, just like my birthday month, so I feel good. But, like, today is just rampant. I mean, it's insane. I was like, I haven't felt like this probably since, like, last year. And it feels kind of similar. It feels like dreamy and kind of Alice in Wonderland, but, like, so positive, just like the best parts of, like, a trip with none of, like, it's fucking crazy. Yeah.
No, I just got a hug, like, I don't know, a couple minutes ago that made me feel like I was suddenly on shrooms just from hugging someone. So that's kind of what we're having.
I will say, I did take some mushrooms earlier today. I just took a little bit. I weighed it out. Just a little bit. I usually don't microdose, but I did take a little bit of mushrooms. So
you know what's funny is I had a feeling that you did before I came on. I was like, he's probably gonna be on little shrooms, which is good.
Just a little bit. And if you knew how rare it was, actually a listener sent me them. I never go out and seek mushrooms ever. Like, it's just not something I do. But a listener sent me them, and I microdosed maybe a few times over the past few weeks. But today I was like, I'm feeling so good. Like, why wouldn't I? And yeah, it's fucking great. It's fucking great. Shit's good.
Love today.
Yeah, it's a great day. I think the whole month is going to be pretty magical. So
good.
What are your days like? I know it's different now, the energy around everything, but, like, what are your days like? I see people around you. Like, what has it been like? And what is objectively out there a very chaotic time for seemingly the majority of people? Like, how have you felt kind of throughout this whole, like, weavy time?
So it things happen in stages. When, like, I call her Miss Rona instead of Miss Rona. When she arrived, at first I was like, oh no, I'll be fine. And I felt that for like 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, I think I probably consumed too much stuff. And then I started freaking out. I was just like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to give it to my mom. I'm going to take her out. Like, I was freaking out. And so I didn't see anybody for a month. I didn't even, like, visit my partner sorry about that.
No problem.
Didn't visit my partner for like a month. And then I don't know what happened. I think some sort of, like, switch went off in my head where, like, I was just like, you know what? I don't think Miss Rona's coming for you in particular. Like, it was, and I don't want to sound like I'm detached from.
Yeah, I know. He's preaching to the choir here. I mean.
And so I was just like, I don't think it's my turn with that. I already have, like, my what is it, Dark Night of the Soul is kind of happening through, like, another health thing already. So I'm like, I think I'm already doing what it is that, like, Miss Rona came to do. Like, I was already doing that since last year. And so I don't really need to do that again. And so I kind of chilled out. But today, I've visited a couple friends and I've visited my partner, of course. But today's been, like, the first day that I've hung out with, like, multiple people. And it's great. I'm having a great day. I'm like,
oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. I mean, I've been pretty, admittedly, like, I think if people knew what my actual patterns were for, like, socializing since Corona happened, they'd probably think I'm reckless and kind of crazy. But I don't know how popular it is in the middle of this while it's going on to be like, I think your state of consciousness somewhat makes you immune from these things. But I do believe that. And, like, I've seen enough evidence of it in my own life and the lives of others for things that are, like, equally as serious or devastating as Corona. I've seen it, and it's just true. Like, your vibe, your frequency, like, and I'm glad you call it Miss Rona because it is feminine. Viruses, I think, are feminine. My partner came up with this, or she's the one who told me about it, that where viruses are feminine and bacteria are masculine. And if you can look at Corona not as like this evil, malicious kind of thing, but it's like this destructive energy that's moving through. And ideally, it can do what it did for you. Like, it made you confront some serious fears about wellness, health, community, socializing, like important shit that people have to move through if they want to get to the point where shit's like amazing. I think it pushes us through that. It destroys the parts of us that like would be susceptible to that, which is maybe not a popular take right now, but I think one that, I guess, even if it's not true, which I think it is, like, it's just better to live like that. Like, you see what experiences it leads to, like, especially today. That's amazing. You get to socialize. That's a big fucking mood boost.
Yeah, it's great. I was just like, wow, I miss humans, and multiple humans, like, having energy around us. It's good.
It's good. It's really good. So, wow, so like, it was like a month you said you were like not hanging out with people?
Yeah. I did one because my partner's a musician, so he did a video shoot, so like I was around people that day, but other than that, it's just been, I've been home and then with him for like since like March. That's like the human contact that I've had, and then my friend Felly is back there. I've seen her periodically, but I've been distant. But I kind of knew it was coming though, because in numerology this is like the year 7 for me, which is like a year of isolation. So I had a feeling that I wasn't going to be as social as I have been. But I didn't know Miss Rona was coming. I didn't know that like it was going to be that intense. Yeah. But yeah, the isolation has been interesting. I don't know if I will continue to be as isolated for the rest of the year. I don't know, but it's great to not be isolated right now.
Yeah, I think you can appreciate when you can. I mean, I had to deal with stuff like introducing my kids to my dad and mom, who are like, my dad is like probably not like classic vulnerable, but like, you know, from all the shit that's going on. And I really just like, you just got to make value judgments on what's more important to you in life. You know, like, what is the community? And it's not to say you want to just like be reckless just to hang out with people you're willing to like cull the old from the population. It's just like there are resonant things we're here to experience and learn. And I think moving away from those actually like gives us kind of some vulnerability to this shit. It's very unpopular. All I know is like every time I fucking even imagine saying it publicly about this stuff, I'll do it on Instagram now because it's not a ton of people, but like,
yeah,
it's not popular to say that. But most of my like spiritual, I don't even want to say spiritual, most of my people who I feel like have a pretty good handle and perspective on like everything that's going on, who seem balanced and creative and fulfilled, and like maybe they're not living in utopia 100% of the time, but they're doing pretty well. They seem to understand that there is something to your mentality and your state of mind and the relationship to anything out there, not just the virus, any type of instability, which is sure to follow. Like, I think July, like, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be great, but it's definitely like, I think shit's going to go down. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's very like, I haven't done an energy image thing. I do one every month. But I'm feeling like, because I'll get the feeling before I like draw it, and I'm getting this very like this like zingy noise. I don't know how to. It's very like buzzy, tingly noise. I don't know how to, but it'll be in the drawing that I do. And so that's very exciting. But I don't know if it's gonna be great for everybody.
I've been hearing that noise a lot. I've been hearing that noise to the point where usually when I'm aware of it, it like kind of stays at a frequency, but like my awareness of it now seems to amplify it and like make it go up octaves, and it gets like, it's like such a weird, and it's a whole body feeling too. I just think it's a lot of energy, and you know, there's polarity to that here. It's good and bad depending on your perspective, but if it excites you, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't feel bad.
I'm excited, but then I feel like I'm also able to see where like nervousness and discomfort might come from it. But I'm excited, which is, it makes me think. So with some of these people I'm with actually right now, we were driving one day and we almost got in a car accident. Like we almost like there was a car like straight on. It was probably gonna hit us. Maybe in some timeline we got hit and we died. But
Yeah.
I felt
I
that.
always think
I felt
that, yeah.
excited. I got, and I sound crazy, but I got really excited. I was like, whoa, like, and I don't know. That's kind of that feeling that I'm getting is like before, but we didn't die. We didn't get hit.
You didn't
I
die.
thought
You're
we were
here.
gonna get
You
hit.
made it. In this reality, you made it. That's for
But
sure.
there's this, it's that like, you should probably be scared, but I'm not scared. I'm excited type of feeling underneath other feelings I'm having. But that's the most strong feeling I think I'm getting about July.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me. I think that's kind of just my natural frequency. I also think it's the natural frequency for a lot of people, just because I spoke about this today a little bit, but like this sense of catastrophe or imminent catastrophe is something that people like naturally kind of crave as human beings, because that is what being a human being is. Like there's at any point anything can happen. So you're living in that state subconsciously no matter what. It's not like you forget about it. It's there.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can thrive in that situation, and like I think that's the proper perspective when you feel that energy, to know that it's like, oh shit, this is an opportunity. It's like a quantum leap thing. It doesn't have to be. I think that's what I learned is like it's gentle either way if you want it to be. The thing that makes it like a rougher ride for people in these times is they like buck against the shit. Like, no, I don't want it to be a lot of energy. I just want it to be a little. And it's like, well, it can be a lot and good and calm and pleasant and stable. It doesn't have to be like a clusterfuck of like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been hearing like, I've been getting like kind of like direct communications from like whatever you want to call it, spirit, aliens, guides, higher selves. Like to the point where I'm like, fuck, like, what are you doing? Like, can I just get like a break? And like one of the things they were saying is you know, in regards to sound and music, like just be around, create if you can, but even if you can't, don't worry, just like listen to as much music like out loud, not just in headphones, but out loud, because like spirits and higher selves love that shit. Like it like attracts them towards you. It seems to be like a big theme for what's going on, I think, in the next few years, but especially like this feels like an on-ramp for that type of shit for sure.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that clarity, because that's so funny, because I've been really excited by, I don't normally like driving very much, but lately I've been having like these transcendent experiences while driving, and I think it's because my music is like loud, like
I just been turning it up
loud,
louder than ever. I've been turning it up
like so loud, and I'm just driving and I'm like blasted off into somewhere else, and that's been happening more and more while driving. It happened today. I think that's like what started my like rocket ship upwards, was my drive into the city. So no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
my music out loud. That's great.
Yeah, it's the best. I've been blasting it up. I usually go to like 23 on my stereo in my car as the loudest. So I've been putting it up to 33 recently. I'm just like, jack it up. Jack it all the way fucking up. I know. I got pulled over for speeding a few days ago. Wow. It was a crazy sequence of days. But yeah, the cop was like also weird. It was like the craziest example of both like white privilege, metaphysical like realities. It was insane. Like this cop pulled me over. First of all, I was going 70 in a 55. He was going the opposite direction. His radar picked me up going 70. And something about it, I kind of had been thinking about it for like a week before. I'm like, I feel like I might get pulled over. I might get pulled over. Like, I just feel like I might get pulled over. And so, of course, I'm summoning in my reality. He comes around. I could have made this left and escaped him, and he wouldn't have seen me, but I didn't. I was like, he's not coming. Whips around, follows me, no lights. Boom, I slow down, pulls me over. And then begins one of the weirdest sequences. Really lasted like a few days. It was like the launching point. But this cop, he's like fumbling with the mask, and he's already like apologetic because of the mask thing. He's like, I'm sorry, like, just give me a second. So now already like I have the upper hand in this weird thing, and he keeps asking me if I'm okay. But not in like a like, are you on drugs? Like, he's just like, it almost felt like him wanting me to give him an excuse or something. And my partner's next to me, and she told me afterwards, she's like, what the fuck was that? Like, he kept asking me, like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And so like eventually like he goes back to his car, and I immediately get this weird feeling like I have to pee. Like I've never felt in my life. Like I can hold my pee for fucking 24 hours if I need to. But I was like, yo, I have to go. Like this is insane. Like I really have to go now. It takes like forever. I go back, I have to pull off and piss. Basically, he let me off. He's like, if you show up to court, I probably won't go. Like, you can get off. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did you even pull me over? Like, what the fuck was this weird thing? But anyway, I get back home. I'm like fucked up in like the sacral region. And I remember our reading that you gave me. And I'm like, oh shit, this is like my place of power. And it was exactly what we spoke about. It wasn't like just like down there region. It wasn't just my stomach. It was like this whole area in between. It was, I'm telling you, Pete, I've never felt anything. I said to Denise, I was like, I've never felt anything like this in my life. It's fucking insane. It was like this pressure, this intense pressure. So like at this point, like normally like hypochondriac means like, yo, like your prostate, hernia, like just some crazy medical adventure. I'm gonna have to do this fucking pandemic time. I'm like, this shit is gonna be the worst. I can't believe I have to go through this. I calm myself down. Meanwhile, I'm on the toilet the entire time this is happening. Just to be clear about what my scenario is. I'm like, what the fuck is happening in my reality? So I get through it. I'm like, you know what? One thing I learned about this energy that we're in is like all these really like constrictive, kind of blocked, pressure-filled situations. If you can just remember that the other side of them is like this amazing fucking release that always happens, even if you die. I don't think that's happening for most people. Even if you die, it's a release of some sort. You weirdly kind of transcend it. I took a nap. That's how I got through it. Took a nap in pain, woke up no pain. But like, if you can just go through these experiences and recognize, even if it feels constrictive and kind of like tough and uncomfortable, on the other side inevitably is at least the opposite energy. It really shifts your perspective on how to kind of navigate this reality. But it all started with me like getting pulled over by a fucking cop, and I fucking knew it was gonna happen. Yeah, it was fucked up. Fuck, I gotta fucking go to court. I'm trying to go to Turkey in between. What's good in your life though?
It's that. Oh, I don't know, like just a bunch of opportunities to like judo flip things, like you said, like in previous podcasts, but experiencing things very like presently, and then deciding what choice I want to make has been the thing, especially for the last like since January. Choices have been like a super intense thing for me, but I'm a Scorpio, Mercury, Scorpio, Venus, Scorpio, Pluto. So like lots of that. So I of course have decided to bring all of my pain to the forefront, and I like stare at it. I'm like, hello, let's talk. Like I don't,
I love it.
I try to go to like the most intense place. I just go to like wherever's the most harsh I can go to emotionally. I'll bring that up for myself so that I can like figure it out, so I can deal with it. And that's what's been happening since January, and I've recently made like a lot of money, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
And yeah, and it's like for various things. Like it's not even like for this like from the same place. It's just like random.
Totally, because you just welcomed it. You're like, yeah, this is what I do now.
But I think I actually figured out the moment when it happened. I had like, it was a few months ago, and I had like no money in my bank account, and it's when like all of the judo flipping that I was doing since January, like it happened in that moment. At that moment I was like, you don't have any money, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I can't be like this forever, but that's fine, whatever. And like I went to sleep, I woke up the next day, got drunk with my partner, posted on Instagram about doing readings, and then from there it's just been like, and so I think in that simple like, oh, this is the truth, but it's fine. As soon as that happened, everything just went, and I was like, oh, great, so that's how you do it. I've been practicing since January.
Yeah.
And did it in March.
Right.
So I'm just ready to do it with other things in my life, like my health, although I think I'm actually doing it now. But yeah, just trying to judo flip things. It's very easy when you get to this, there's like a certain point that you get to, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and it's fine. And
it's hard to explain. I think the meta way of doing it is that you basically just program into yourself that you get it, basically, like that it will all click into place. And then even when it feels like it's not, you know that that's just kind of like a aberration, like it's a mistake of what's going on. So like, yeah, I mean, it's that, what's that noise?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's cool. They're me. That's cool. That's cool.
Okay, they're trying to turn it off now.
No. It's no big deal. No big deal. It happens. This fucking also like the funniest thing to me is Mercury retrograde. Like I tried to record my podcast today like 4 times. Oh, that reminds me. They told me I had to get a recorder. Just don't mind me. Like I may do that today because like they fucking were like, listen, we'll let you record this shit. And when I say they, I don't know. Higher self, future me. I don't know what it is. They're like, you need to get this recorder for when you travel. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then they let me put this episode out and do this. So let me get, and in case, we'll do a little tutorial. If anyone wants a good mobile recorder for travel, I'm getting a Zoom H6 on Amazon.com. Is that bad? Is Amazon bad? I know Amazon is bad. I keep using it.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Amazon.
I keep using it. I really do.
I am trying to buy from like people who are local.
Totally.
Because I feel like I get more excitement from that. It makes me a little happier because I'm like, I know the human, or not that I know them, but I'm like, this is a human, and I'm buying something from this human, and it feels really good. But sometimes when I want stuff really fast,
that's the thing. Like that's like I don't know. Like I know that like Jeff Bezos is creating a reality where he's just the richest guy, like at all costs, and that's cool. Like I listened to this long audiobook of Rockefeller when he was like, people don't even understand. If someone came along now and was like suddenly like a 10 trillionaire, that's the equivalent of like what Rockefeller was when he like was the oil magnate. Like it wasn't like there's someone close and they're kind of like battling back and forth. It's just like this guy's more than anyone's ever conceived of. It's insane. So I get that like kind of like running your reality. So I feel like he does move us towards that. But I guess if we're holding the vibe that shit works out, that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
I eat McDonald's sometimes. And when I say sometimes, I'll get in fucking grooves. It'll be like 2-3 weeks and I'll eat a shitload of McDonald's. And I fucking look better than ever. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it totally, but I feel like if your relationship to these things is pure and you know how to kind of transmute what may seem like dark energy or like bad shit, but really do that and really understand what energy you're taking on and not do it like mindlessly as a justification for like shit behavior. I don't know. It's pretty malleable, this world. Pretty malleable.
No, I realize like I don't have like a high alcohol tolerance lately. It's been getting like lower and lower. But a couple nights ago, I was drinking like vodka or something like that. And in my head, I was like, every time you drink, you get hungover. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like,
yeah, hold on.
I want to do that. And so I was just like, how about this? I'm gonna drink, and my ancestors will get drunk with me. And that way, I'm not the only one drinking. And that way, I won't have a hangover. And I woke up the next day, there was no hangover. There was like nothing. I was just like, oh, maybe the hangover was just my ancestors being like, we want to drink too. Like, acknowledge us when you're drinking so we can drink too. And I was like, oh, that's all. Y'all just had to tell me that. You didn't have to give me a headache, but
right.
Isn't it? I guess.
That's also channeling and mediumship that I think like a lot more people are tuning into, but the ancestral, familial, collective, energetic stuff, that shit is super powerful. If you can start looking at it through those lenses, when it feels like that's what it is, that's what it is. And like it can be something as silly as like, doesn't need to be this heavy fucking thing. It's just like, yeah, we just want to get drunk. Like you have a body. We recognize time is crystallized down to you're like the forefront. You're like the person. Also, I think these incarnations are like our wake up ones. Like these are the ones where it's like, hey, you wake up in this body. It's not negating any past lives or any other connections of being everything. It's just like, this is the one where you take it to the fucking next level. And I feel like a lot of ancestral energy and ghosts and dead people stuff is just like, of course, they're going to try to be like getting in and being like, yo, can we just get in on the party a little bit?
They're like we want to party.
Not that crazy. Yeah. Should we take some questions? I forgot about that. Let's take some questions. So also P, for people that don't know, P is like, you're amazing at human design. Like you mentioned you offered these readings back in the day. I saw them like take off for you. I mentioned when we spoke that human design was always kind of on my periphery. It's like it weaved in and out because it takes, stuff I love like astrology and the I Ching and all this stuff. But your reading with me was fantastic. So I can speak to that, but she's an expert on that. So if anyone has any questions, I am not. And then from 13 minutes ago, we have a question. What is the energy right now? You answer that one. What is the energy?
Right now, the energy is manic, fuzzy, tingle, zingy. And it can be very fun. If you lean that way, if you lean the other way, you're probably having an anxiety attack right now.
Yeah, I can see that. That's really true. If your reaction and your tendency and pattern, then you can't get a hold of it in this moment, is to get anxious and nervous related to energy. It's definitely going to feel probably a little, it's like going up a roller coaster and not knowing that it's a roller coaster, but you feel like you're going to push off a cliff. But it is fun. Also, I'll say this, for people who kind of been on this ride before, it feels a lot more stable. It feels like you've been on the ride. It's like to me, it feels like a time circle that's looped around. Almost to me, for me personally, it feels like from last year, it kind of like lined up exactly when I really started fucking like understanding this stuff and applying it and seeing the results. But it feels like from a more elevated perspective, not in like I'm a higher up type of shit, but it just feels like I'm seeing more of what is going on, and there's like a better appreciation and perspective on it. That's the energy, and it also feels like stability. So I'd say also, because I do think you mentioned manic and kind of buzzy, if you do have a tendency to get kind of like woo and take it from someone who had to play out this game 20 years ago, try to pay attention to your feeling of balance and your ability to center yourself. If when you're super high up, you can find your center of balance, you're good to go. Go high up. Go do whatever you need to do. But if you feel like you lose control and you spin out for a little bit, just experiment, because this shit is like pretty wild. It's like a lot of soupy stuff out here that, you know, you don't necessarily want to get too far out and then be like, oh shit. Because you don't drown in these waters, is the truth. You just go under and it feels like you're drowning in, you know. So that's the energy. Oh, more questions. Let's see what else we got. What energy do you feel is coming for the collective this month? Do you want to start with this one too? These are fun.
Cool. So hold on. Let me like. So I think again, like that sparkly, buzzy feeling, but then also like this pure beam of white light felt like it like shot through my stomach, kind of. So I'm thinking some like purification might be happening. So like removal of things, I think, is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I felt like a white laser got shot through my stomach. Feels great, but it's like a cleanser. I had to like feel it for a second. But yeah, no, I think that's what's happening.
It does feel like that purification, kind of like a cosmic purification, which comes with it some purging, I think, and probably like, I mean, you get to choose. The beautiful thing with all of this stuff is you really do get to choose where and when you engage with this to a large extent. So like if you don't want to take on like some gnarly energy and have to, you don't have to, but if you put yourself kind of cosmically and karmically in situations, you got to really like get this shit fast if you want to mitigate or kind of like circumvent some of the stuff you've set up for yourself. And I think that's fine. Like, but it is, I think it's a really good month for most people. I've said this traditionally. I said for me and the people around me, I've noticed in my love, Jesus Christ, in my life, everyone has a good month, July. It's just like this, usually this really cosmically powerful month. Almost every single one I can remember. And I'm not even like a huge summer person. My birthday's there. It's like, I like summer. I don't even think it's my favorite month, but just traditionally July is like, oh, it's good stuff. Yeah. So I think good things. That's my shitty answer to a great question. Let's see what else we got. What to do with heavy energy, painful pressure in the solar plexus area? Do you have any tips for that?
Hug somebody. Because I'm pretty sure that's what I was experiencing, because I got so like excited and my energy was like, wah, and then it all kind of went into my solar plexus and felt like there's too much in there. And then that hug that I just got like melted it all down. So maybe physical touch or like laying your chest on something warm, maybe like put some rose quartz on your chest. If you have that, if you're someone who's into crystals. And nettle tea.
Nettle's great. Nettle is great. I started taking nettle for allergies. Like my mom gave it to me like 4 or 5 years ago. That shit was incredible. Yeah, I'll also say if you don't have access to hugs, which are really the best thing anyone can be doing, like a real good, like that's actually the best thing. But if you don't have access to that, you can imagine like a place inside of you, like in your heart, where you give yourself a hug, or like anyone you would want to hug, like you can do that. That also works as like a self-generative thing, and then you'll usually find other people come in your life who you can hug. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So let's see what else we got. What can beings do to choose the path of purification with ease? For me at least, on that one, like, just choose it as easy. You have to feel the feeling of like, oh, that was easy, holy shit, and then acclimate yourself to that, and then use it where you want. Like, it sounds wrong to our conscious minds that we would want things to not be easy all the time. Like, why would we want difficult or challenging energy? But it's satisfying sometimes. It's like you ever build something, you ever create something, and it like was effort, and then you're done. You're like, holy shit, this came together great. Like, that wasn't easy all of the time. So there's different levels of kind of appreciating that. But if you want to go with purification with ease, just surrender, let go, trust yourself, like fall into yourself, trust that like if you're at this point in reality where shit's just getting so explicitly weird and like these narratives are like playing out in reality, all these scriptural, sci-fi, just all of this stuff is happening. Choose the one where like you purify really easily and you move on with the next phase of your life, which I do think is this kind of like, I know Jess has been talking about this like 60 collaborative kind of energy, which comes with its own challenges and its own stuff, but like you at least drop this stuff of like not like acknowledging that there's infinite love everywhere, there's infinite abundance, and you don't have to be like weird about shit. So if you can kind of latch onto that perspective, stuff gets easier. What do you think on that?
Agree with what you said. And also something that I do, because I'm a Virgo moon, Virgo rising. So I have a tendency to not allow things into my space that I don't want for a long time. So I say continually ask yourself, like, do I want this in my space or not? Like, period. Don't ask any other flowery questions around it. Just like, do you want it or not? That's it. And if you don't want it, let it go.
That's great.
That's some Virgo energy.
That's huge. That's positive Virgo energy. I remember I attracted so many Virgo moons last year. It was insane. It was just like the weird, everywhere I'd go, it's just like Virgo moon energy. And like the shadow side of Virgo moon, which I don't have to tell you or any Virgo moon, but in case people are like partners with one or ever had a relationship with one, is it can turn into rumination and like really like loops of like what could go wrong, why is it going to go wrong, this is going wrong. It can really turn into that. But that tip you gave about like space and just allowing like it to kind of direct you where you want to go, like that's that masculine objective energy too, which is pretty potent in these times. There is kind of this masculine emerging.
3 Virgo moons.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. Yeah, Virgo moons. Virgo moon club. This is for you. General advice for generators.
Again, repeating myself. Don't do things you don't want to do. Just stop doing anything you don't want to do. Because generators, the way that I view us, because I'm a type of generator as well. I view us as people who consume to create. And so if you're consuming things that you don't enjoy, or energy that like is not helpful for you, that's like, if you're someone who doesn't like McDonald's, but you keep eating McDonald's for like, because it's cheap or something like that, stop doing that. And like, ask your body, like, what would you rather me eat? I know that there's another affordable way for me to feed you and that you don't like this, so I'm going to stop feeding this to you. So don't do things you don't want to do. Find something else to take up your time, but try to drop as many things as possible. That's the biggest advice I would say.
And I would add to that, like, I don't know shit about this, but I feel like it's a great way to start something. I don't know shit about this, but I'll add to it. I do think, like, there's a sense of, like, if you understand that there's infinite possibility around you, you can really let yourself go to the place where you don't feel constricted by your immediate surroundings. That's important, because if you look at what you can't have because you don't have the money, you don't have the connections, you don't have the talent, you don't have the people, you don't have the drive, you don't have the list, all these things you deeply know about yourself, and you may even feel like you're lazy or you don't possess talent or whatever it is, that's just running your show. But if you just if you get to it and be like, no, I'm going to change that, I'm going to pull that one out by a root, plant some other seed, fully accept that, shit starts to happen so fast. That's the beauty of this stuff. Now, if you're resisting that type of energy and continuously planting seeds that you don't like, you're going to get those faster too. And that's what people tend to feel is like uncomfortable, challenging energy that makes them anxious. So it feels like if you're a generator, I'm a generator too, I think just like straight 2, 4, whatever it was, yeah, you gotta like know that you can actually have anything and everything regardless of what logic says. And if you really test this shit that I'm talking about and that we're talking about mainly, and it doesn't work, hit me up. Hit me up. By all means, hit me up. But if you don't test it and you're like, that's bullshit, that can't work, you suck. That's like, I honestly don't have to deal with many people like that because they probably just think I'm so insane anyway. But test this shit. Test all this stuff.
You
All right,
have to experiment with things like this, and I can say maybe it was easier for you to get from like speculation to experimentation, but for me it's like an everyday thing that I had to make a choice to decide to like try this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I have to tell myself like, oh, today
yeah.
we're trying to believe in this way because we're experimenting. Like we need to try and actually like live and embody this belief system rather than
every
speculate
day
about it.
Yeah, you have to do it every day. That's also how you keep a relationship fresh, organic, love filled. Like it is every day isn't like the continuing thing from the past. You build on experiences, of course, and there's a foundation that emerges in linear space that you can like remember, but like it's a new thing every fucking day. You lock this into a place that's like a stable core belief, but you still have to create and like plunge ahead, and we do it because it's fun ultimately, and if you forget that, it gets terrifying. It's like walking into that movie theater and watching a horror movie, forgetting that you're watching a movie, self-identifying, and then you're like stuck in this movie and you forget you can walk up and go into another theater. Just remember you can walk up. I find that my sacral chakra often feels red and my root feels orange. Any ideas why? I mean, I kind of know. I'll answer from my perspective. Here, okay. I've been reading and experimenting and just feeling a lot of this stuff for like 25 plus years at this point. Not asking for it either. And I've learned that there's so many different narrative structures and beliefs and mythologies related to chakras, energy, even just like in veins of it, like Egyptian stuff. You can see how it balloons out into all these different cosmologies and like facets of this one place in time. It's all true. So if you feel it as like root is orange and like that's cool. I don't think there's anything right now. If it feels like an imbalance, like there's some like energy mixing and you want to like straighten it up, tune into that. So like it's your own approach, but you can have it totally flipped. Like I got this pendulum today and I can't remember if counterclockwise is positive. To me, it feels positive. To me, my partner, feels positive. So I don't know. That's what feels positive. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what if I go back and like Denise tells me, no, that's like, the one that's not positive. I'm like, well, for me, it is. So it doesn't matter if everyone else in the world, their positive is clockwise. Mine feels counterclockwise. It feels like me. I can't fucking knock it. It was a demon tricking me into believing that. I'm not going to go down that road. So it's just like, I think just for me, it's more about the energies, like how you experience it. Now, red, Muladhara, root chakra is typically how you do it. Grounding. Orange would be more kind of the sacral svadhisthana. Sexual chakra, you may just be having a mixture of those two. So the way you ground is through these kind of like sexual, relational. It sounds weird saying it like that, but like sexual energy doesn't actually mean having to have sex with another. It certainly can, but it's like these energies may stir your groundedness, and that's maybe something that's important to you. That's my intuition on it. What do you think, P?
I agree with that. I would say like, why? Maybe ask yourself like, what does orange mean to me, and why is it an issue that my sacral is red and my root chakra is orange? Like, what do those colors actually mean? And if it feels unbalanced, that's like a really cool way for your body to tell you, because you can, like, if you find out what orange means to you, and you can say there's a lot of orange where I feel like orange shouldn't be. If you attribute certain traits to orange, then you can like pinpoint, oh, like there's a lot of this type of energy in this place, and I don't feel like it should be like that. Or if you're fine with it, then be fine with it. But it could just be that your body is telling you to like address some things.
This is great. Your Virgo moon here is like got the pinpoint objective, do what you need energy. This is just what's needed is the earth energy. Okay, let's see what other. We got a few more. From Mike, any advice for talking with loved ones who are activated and triggered from current turmoil? I was just kind of doing this, but what do you think about this, P?
So this is something that I do with myself when I'm in turmoil. But it's like I let them know, like, you are 100% okay. Like, the fact that you are feeling turmoil makes so much sense, and that's totally fine with me that you're feeling this turmoil. Feel free to express it with me. Like, let me know that you're feeling all of this pain and this, like, the fact that you're triggered like this. Okay, like, let me know. Keep telling me. You can tell me for hours if you want. Keep letting it out. And that's fine. That's all I would say.
Yeah. I don't really have much to add to that. My direct experience is when I notice someone's getting triggered by something I'm saying, I check my own intention. Am I coming at it with any type of like aggression or like undue? Like sometimes I'm just not skillful. Like it took me 36 years to realize that when I tell someone you don't understand in a conversation, they don't like that. People don't like being told you don't understand. It's not a good way of engaging. You know who really doesn't like that? Women. They like that maybe less than anyone in the world. So you learn that lesson enough. It only took me, that many revolutions around the sun. But it's try to figure out what energy you're coming potentially bring. But if you feel good, if you know like it's not a big deal, you can pump the brake where needed. You don't need to like be in control. You can imagine them getting through this with like grace and equanimity, and that usually, it's an aspect of you that's having that happen. So it's you deal with it kind of like that.
Yeah, like just like turn yourself into an empty room for them. That's what I would say. Like you're an empty room with no judgment or bias, or like you're just letting them express the fact that they're feeling away. And I feel like that's for me the easiest thing, because I actually just remove all intention from it. I'm like, I'm just here and you're talking, and that's great. Like
that's okay. It's like you can go through what needs to go through now. Yeah, and don't like if someone's being aggressive towards you, don't tolerate that either. But like okay. Besides, this is for you. Besides drinking, in what other ways do you connect to your ancestors on the regular?
It's a funny question, because I don't naturally feel a lot of like ancestral connection. It's not like a thing that I've studied or been even interested in studying at all. But if the idea of ancestors come up, then I'll address it. But if not, then I just think of all of my like past lives and ancestors as me, and I'm like, I'll just talk to you now as this person. I'll just address you, and so that's how I do that.
Me too. It's a lot easier to do that. It's also a lot easier to put yourself in people's perspectives who maybe wouldn't traditionally, culturally or racially share shared ancestry. Like you can shift yourself around into different perspectives, and like you really can. Like you can talk. This is how mediums, by the way, communicate to people's relatives. Like with the physical token or like some connection. It's like they're just tapping into the energy that's being projected there and letting it go through them, and that's something we all have access to. It'll freak you out if you don't know what the fuck is going on. It made me even think you're going crazy. But if you're like comfortable, like you're saying you are, which it seems like you are, you're good to go. That's like what I think that's really important and not to be overlooked. That like it's all happening all the time. You can deal with any energy that feels like it's coming through as needed, but you may just be like, once you're really humming and kind of like a pure vessel, like, yeah, you're kind of good. Even if a lot comes in at once, like you're good. I love that. It's amazing. All right. Wow, we got so many. Also, there's so many. We got pick now.
Uh-oh.
What do you think about somehow creating space for people who see the world for what it is to be in community? What do you think about somehow creating a space for people who see the world for me, that space it's up here first, right? That's the first space. Before I've seen communities in physical space last decades sometimes. The only thing that keeps these things like vibrant and alive is like up here maintaining an image of what you would like that to be. Sure enough, like trust you'll be guided to that. It happened for me. I moved to Bumblefuck. I moved like up here. There was nothing here. I met everyone who's important in my life, and people I brought continue to be in my life too. It's just like a really like imagine the type of space you would like. Rest assured those communities are being created. There are great people with resources and perspectives who are really like working to do this. If you feel motivated to like build one of those spaces, do it. Like Jess is a great example with her imagination project. Like she knew she needed to do it. She just fucking did it. That's like, it's literally that simple. And don't feel pressure that like, if you haven't done it and you see other people doing it, like don't get some weird FOMO with helping people. I've seen this shit with spiritual people. It's like, you're good. Like, you will help in your most perfect way. You don't have to get weird about it, but there certainly will be spaces that are great and amazing, and kind of fundamental, and I think super important for society. So yeah, that's happening for sure.
I agree with that answer.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add.
Nice. All right. I think we'll take one more and then we'll wrap it up. Will you explain on what being in your body means? That's good.
It's about choice for me again. And choosing to be aware of my body. And I realized that, like, I make the choice. I'm like, hey, let's be aware of this physical vessel, and then I think my breathing will change. I start to breathe a lot deeper just from making that choice. But just choosing to be aware of your physical sense, what your toes feel like what do your shins feel like, in your knees and your thighs, and like move up and like feel all of those body parts. That might be a way to kind of get yourself there. But yeah, just choosing to be aware of your body is how I get in my body.
Yeah, and love your body, I think, is really important here. Like, this was a big turning point for me. Like, it's like anything, if you fight against it, like, or you feel you have to do something to make it something it's not, it's just going to keep reflecting back what it's not for you. So, like, if you feel, even this goes for pain, health, physical appearance, any of this stuff, like, just know you can emanate a perfect state of what you want, but you have to latch on. And like, it's difficult and it sounds kind of cruel. So like, you wouldn't say this explicitly. I get readings a lot where people are going through like some gnarly shit, just like some objectively like, holy shit, like that's some like, oh my God, like I can't tell you, they're just in your mind, doofus. But like, there is an aspect like that pain is crystallizing your awareness and focusing it on an area for you to pay attention to. And when you pay attention to it, and that little voice starts pinging, if you don't push it away, I guarantee physical is the last point of like, it's the last defense system. It's like, hey, listen, you want to play this game of being a human? Like, you want to play like with somewhat of like a good hand, like you're in, this is how you do it. Like, you really have to pay attention to your pain. And now also, I'll point this out just for people who are like, well, what about kids? What about kids who have extreme pain? What about innocent beings who come into this world, you know, children, babies who have like leukemia and this horrible stuff? You don't know what their fucking game is, number one. Number two, a lot of times their examples, you see a lot of, I'm not saying every time, I don't diminish the people who come in with suffering and play out that life, but a lot of times these kids who have that shit, they're like, yeah, everything is great. I'm just happy to be here. Like, and everyone's like, the kid's a blessing. I've never seen anyone like this. And I've experienced this with people who've passed away in my life. They're just like the best of humanity. And they're just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I don't need some beer. So you don't know what's going on. But physical pain often is not a death sentence. It's not something you're doing wrong. It's just trying to get you to like pay attention. So that's what being in your body, like pain, not just always pain, but discomfort even in your body is a positive thing if you understand what it's trying to show you. And then being comfortable in your body is amazing, as everyone knows. So that's fucking great. It's like the best.
It's funny that you said that, because I had a moment last night. I was laying in bed, my knee was in pain, and like my first instinct is like to panic, and then I was just like, wait, hold on. And so I was just like, let's put awareness in your knee. And so I waited a little while, I felt my knee, and then my knee started talking to me, and I was like, you feel unsupported. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I just
thank you.
Supported, and then I was
thank you, knee. Thank you, knee. Who's you anyway? This is like the best exercise to do. Who are you? Are you're what part of your body are you? Like, I remember literally being as a kid going out to the ocean in North Carolina, in this ocean, like, you know, there's waves and stuff, they crash over, and I felt like there was all these different people inside of my body controlling this body. And I was like, who's to say this isn't true? How do I know this one version of me up here is like, you don't know. So like, your body will be communicating things to you at any given time. And like, it's pretty smart at it too. And like, knees are good. It's like, you're not supported, you know, throat chakra restriction, soreness. Are you communicating the way you're supposed to be? Like, are you restricting things? You know, are you yelling too much? Like, there's any number of things that any of this stuff can teach you, but the body becomes a tool at that point rather than like a hindrance. And that's big. That's a big shift on the wheel. I don't know that the Greeks predominantly understood that even. I think that they maybe have gotten, not all of them, but even Socrates, you know, via Plato, was kind of like hard on the body. He's like, it's just the body. It's like, it's just a body. It's not a real thing. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, and it's like, nah, it's actually like a really like important vessel and temple for like showing you what the fuck is going on if you let it be.
It's the fastest mirror you have. Like,
So,
you can use it someone else outside of you as a mirror, but your body's right there. So like, why not? You know.
and drink water. Drink water. It's just a good move in life. Cool. Well, we'll treat it like a regular podcast, even though this is a live fun one. 222, amazing. Let's end with the questions. What's your favorite color?
Charcoal gray and neon yellow.
Nice. I love it. What's your favorite number? I like that stumped you. Amazing.
Okay. My immediate reaction was 7, but then I have 44 tattooed on me, and it's like a thing for me.
Well, 7 times 7.
Oh, and I have 7 tattooed on me. I forgot.
7 times 7, right?
Yeah, 7 times 7 is 49. What is it?
Oh, it's 49.
49. Oh, I was like,
I'm like, 7 times 7 is 44. Of course, no, it's not even close.
We can just decide it's 44.
So 7s and 44s. That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. You can have 2. It's allowed. What's your favorite animal?
I'm gonna have 2 again, and it's a red panda and a raccoon.
Nice. And a practical tip that has helped you in your life that you can share with people listening.
Make daily deals with yourself.
What kind of deals do you make?
Some days I'm like, are you gonna be God today? Do you want to do that? And then I'm like, yeah, let's be God.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
It's for 24 hours. You know?
It's a good deal. See how it goes when you wake up, or when whenever. Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, we're on Instagram. I know people can find you here. Where else? Like, how do people book readings? Like, what's the easiest way? Because this is going to go out as a podcast too.
Yes, the easiest way to book a reading with me, a human design reading, is go to peathefeary.com, and that's PEATHEFEARY.com, and then you can follow me at Instagram at Pea The Feary.
Awesome. This was fun. You're the first one I did a live with, and I think they're just going to get cooler and more fun. Awesome. Thank you, Pete.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye. Thanks for listening to that episode. Go check out P. She's the coolest. There are links to all of her stuff in the regular places you would find them. A reminder for patrons and people who want to sign up for Patreon. I just did a huge music dump over there. That's not the way I wanted to say that. A dump? Yikes. I released a lot of music that you've heard on this show over the years. Just put that out there. There's music, there's hangouts, there's Q&As, there's readings, there's all the fun stuff.
We're expanding it. It's turning into a real community. I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. So go sign up for that. That's patreon.com/synchronicity. You can sign up for the email list. There's tons of shit to do. There are readings still taking place. syncpodcast.com/readings. People ask how to do that. That's how you do that. That's astrology and tarot, in case I wasn't clear what that is. We do an astrological reading of your chart and tarot readings. So that's fun. That's it. I will see you next week, probably with a special guest, but maybe a solo cast. Who knows? That's how you keep people entertained. It's called a cliffhanger, folks. Jeez Louise. I love you. Happy imagining.